Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to today's live stream. It says I'm live. I just wanted to wait just maybe a minute. Maybe some people are going to jump on live. Today's live stream will be about frugal lifestyle, which actually can be quite fun. Here's the reason why I'm doing another live. It's just because simply I didn't have time to do a produced video. Plus, I actually really enjoy going on. And, if there's anyone in the chat section, it's really cool to talk to you all and to have some conversation actually going on. Before I get started, let me give you just a couple of updates about my life. Next week, by the way, there will be another cleaning video coming up. I did some cleaning today. I started with a kitchen and I'm going to continue some more. So you're going to see me wear this outfit right here. And you're also going to see my belly, but I'm going to show you now. I am now 20 weeks, 4 days pregnant with our twins. I'm so blessed that I feel pretty great. Other than having a little bit of pinched nerve here and there, like when I get up at night, which I have to frequently to go to the bathroom. Oh my goodness, do they ever push my bladder big time? Those babies are trampling on my bladder big time. But whenever I get up, I have to just get up really slowly. The first 5 steps, I have to just kind of be careful because there's usually kind of some nerves pinched. But let me show my belly. So this is it. I feel it's getting so big already and only being 20 weeks. But of course, there are 2 babies in there. So I feel pretty good. Now it looks like a legitimate baby belly. Whereas before, I had the feeling like sometimes it looked like, did she just eat too much? Is she bloated? Depends on the clothes I wear. So this is a kind of a tighter shirt, so you can actually see. But I love wearing loose clothes. And I've been sitting on this. So if you see me move around, I always sit on this. And this is so helpful to rotate my pelvis. It is so much more comfortable than sitting statically. Okay, so that's my update. School started back up this week, just now this week. We are really late here. And so I'm very happy to be able to get back to work a little bit on some kind of a regular schedule. I am hoping that they will eventually get rid of kids having to wear masks the entire time they're in school. It's pretty bad because Romy, she hates it. It's like legitimately, she did cry sometimes. She came home and said, "Mom, I cannot wear this mask all day long in school." So let's hope that is gonna not be the case anymore very soon. I wanted to talk about frugal lifestyle, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of history. I was raised in a home that, like my parents, they had a business, and there was never really lack. We always had pretty good money. I couldn't say that we were rich or anything, but we had really good money, actually. We could buy whatever we wanted to buy. My parents had usually more than 1 car, sometimes 2, 3. At some point, we had 4 cars for 2 adults, really, because my dad was all into cars and stuff. And there was abundance, definitely. When it came to food, my parents always, like my dad especially, he loved getting great food. So we would eat caviar all the time. He just loved the taste of it. So we would get caviar and smoked salmon. Sunday breakfast would consist of smoked salmon and caviar. And on Christmas, we would get this lobster stuff, like the lobster. It's kind of like a lobster salad. So food and drink and everyday comforts, that was always there. And when I was pretty young, I started working for my parents a little bit. I could just always, there was something to do all the time. So, whenever I wanted to make a little bit of money, I didn't have an allowance, but they gave me lots of opportunities to actually earn money. So when I was a teenager, I remember I always had a lot of money actually, because I worked for my parents a lot, and but I would spend the money. I would earn the money, and when I had money, I would spend it as a teenager usually on really cool clothes. So, I would get me like these really expensive Levi's jeans. You're going to laugh now, because here in Germany, Levi's jeans were back then, like it was the Levi's 501s that were really, really popular here. And I know they're actually men's jeans, but they were so popular here also for the girls. And they cost 150 Deutsche Mark. So that was back then. So that's like, I don't know, maybe $100. That's insane. I would never buy a pair of jeans for $100 nowadays. But I wanted to be, like the cool stuff, the stuff I really loved. So I would earn the money and I wouldn't really save a lot. Now, my parents did save some money for me back then. And they did start a savings account where my mom every month transferred money, and I couldn't touch it. There was, like the bank had this contract. You'd have to just pay in for a specific number of years. And then when I turned 19 or 20, I got all the money. And it was like, I don't know, maybe like $8,000 or so. It wasn't like, it was a good amount. It was like crazy much, but it was a good amount. So then that was the time when I was with my now ex-husband. Hi, Brian. It's great that you're here. And well, actually, I spent that money quite quickly to get on our feet. We got married back then. I was 20. We got married really, really young. And that money was just spent. Nobody ever taught me the concept of like, you can actually do something with your money. You can like not spend it, or you can like different ways of spending money. My parents were not frugal people. They would just earn a lot. They would have a lot coming in, but a lot would go out also. So they never really saved a lot of money. And I know it. So when my dad passed away way too early, he passed away in 1998. He had a stroke. He left my mom with tons of debt. Now, they always made good money, but he left my mom with a huge amount of debt because of the fact that my dad had a massive alcohol problem, and he did a lot of really dumb things, a lot of dumb stuff when it comes to finances. He would just, without thinking about it, he would spend obscene amounts of money on stuff. Like he'd just buy a classic motorcycle for 10,000 Deutsche Marks back then and not even talk to my mom about it. He would just he had it in cash, so he'd just go and buy it. I mean, the good thing is he didn't really take credit for that kind of stuff. However, they had a really bad deal on the mortgage for the house. And he just kept spending money left and right. So on the commitments, the actual bills, they got behind sometimes. And the most of the debt was because of the house, because it was a really, really bad deal on the mortgage. He must have done that when he was drunk, because it was a really, really bad deal. There was no way of catching up. They paid so much interest that there was no way to ever catch up. So my dad passed away and left my mom with all of that debt, a business to now run on her own, which they ran together for many years. The business is still in business today after almost 50 years, which is kind of, my mom became my biggest inspiration, because my mom, she paid off all that debt on her own, being alone. And my brother was quite young still. He was 14 when my dad passed away. And thank you, Brian. I hope you have a great day too. And just want to give you a little bit of a history, how I came to where I am now. And that became such an inspiration to me as an adult. However, I always had partners who were not into, like, I don't know, they just don't teach you that in school. I just had regular Joe people who, you have money, and then let's buy a TV, let's buy, and we would take small credits, like for buying a computer. It's like, oh, we could pay and like take notes on it and pay it off in a year or so. Consumer credit, small consumer credit. That was, everyone did it. Everyone does it now. So it was just kind of normal. We did what everyone else did. And only a few years ago, when I was forced to become more responsible, when I became a mom, that's when I actually started reading books about finances, about money, and about, like, I had no idea. It's like, oh, really? You can actually make your money work for you, or you can actually live like a frugal life. And I actually became really interested in that. In the beginning, I was really forced because I didn't have a lot of money. I was a performing artist out and traveling a lot. And then I became a mom, and I had to completely change my lifestyle. So I had to figure out, like, how do I do my life now? I can't continue like I used to, like just doing whatever and making money and blowing it again. I didn't blow money, but it was just, as soon as I earned it, I would spend it. I never had money saved up, like no bigger amounts, like a little bit, just little amounts. And that was gone so fast. Any one unexpected bill came and I'll be like, ooh, now I have to go into the negative on my account and then pay it back or something. Joe, oh yeah, your mom was inspiring too. That is so cool. I hope to be a better example for my daughter and teach her that you can make something out of your money. So having that story as a background, only in the past few years did I actually start learning about finances. And that actually, in the beginning, I kind of had to not spend a lot of money because I just didn't have it. And then it became kind of fun. I started reading books about frugal life and minimalism. And I discovered, like, that is actually so much more fulfilling, because what I noticed was that all that stuff that I kept buying, it was really cool in the moment, and I was really excited about it, and it seemed to make me really happy. But then, of course, not long after, I was like, on to the next thing. It's like, ooh, now I really need this. And then I got this. And then, like, ooh, now I really need that. And I don't know. I guess I'm someone in life, I always need some kind of excitement, like something to look forward to, some project. But you know what? Here's what became my project. Instead of stuff, I started focusing more on, like, self-improvement, learning, and saving money, and just doing things that are really useful as projects. I wrote a book, and I started YouTube on my main channel, my singing channel. And I don't know, I started just having these projects that excited me, that did not involve spending money, but that actually involved saving some money. And then, I started an investment fund, like a depot, we call it depot here. And I started putting some money into, some stock and some, what do you call them? Like funds, and it is so cool now. After a few years of that, I have more money now saved up than I ever had in my entire life, probably combined ever. And it's only because I changed my mindset. And here's the most important thing. I shifted my mindset from a mindset of lack, of focusing on all the things that I'm missing, that I don't have this and I don't have that, and I really want to have it. I shifted it to a mindset of abundance, of really gratefulness, and like practicing gratitude is one major part. I do this every night when I go to bed, and I lay down, I close my eyes. What I do is I tell myself, like, I count all those things that I'm grateful about. It could be the smallest things, but they're so meaningful. And to me, it's every day. It's like, I got this amazing home. It's not a new home. It's not any like modern home. It's an old 100-year-old home, but it's mine and I made it what it is. And I put so much work into this. It looked like, oh, it looked really bad when I bought it. And then I put all this work pretty much by myself. And I'm very happy about it. And my daughter was born right here in the living room at home. We had a planned home birth, and I feel so blessed. And then I have my daughter. She's the hugest blessing. She is such a blessing. Every day, I'm so grateful that I'm her mother. Excuse me. I'm so grateful that I can do what I love doing every day. I can stay home. Like even during all this COVID, I didn't have to be scared about not making money. I didn't have to be scared about not having time for my daughter because there was all this at-home schooling going on for several months. I was set up really well, and I never fell into this hole like some other people that I knew had to because they were performing artists and there were no gigs anymore. And there are so many things, large and small, that I'm very, very grateful for. So shifting to a mindset of abundance, of thinking, I don't need all these things because I have so much. I have so much, literally. I mean, I call myself an aspiring minimalist. I'm never going to be one of these people who's just like has almost nothing in the house. I get rid of more and more of my own things, but of course, kids and you have partners and stuff. I just want to focus on what's important to me, and that's more like people and relationships. And my home is really important to me. And the thing is, if you start a frugal lifestyle because you have to, in the beginning, it seems like such a deprivation. Like, oh, I just can't buy this because I don't have the money, and I can't buy that. But here's the thing. Now I have more money coming in than I ever had in my life, and I have more saved up than ever before, but I'm more frugal than ever before because it's like I appreciate how I had to work for that money, and I just don't let it go for junk. It's not worth it for me. And I'm always thinking, so now I'm pregnant with twins, and of course, there's a lot of things we have to get to prepare. There are like 2 car seats, and we need a double stroller. This stuff is more expensive than for one baby. And but I'm trying to get everything I can used. So yesterday or a couple days ago, we went and picked up a used car seat. It's just literally like new, but it cost half of what it would new. And those people were really nice that we bought it from. They only used it for one child and they didn't use it a lot because they didn't drive around a lot. They live close to the city. So what a blessing, and what a waste it would be if I bought everything new, because literally that newborn car seat I'm going to use for maybe 9 months, 12 months maximum, and then we're going to have to get the next size. So not worth it to spend a lot of money. Clothes, same for baby clothes. They're going to be in those clothes for just literally weeks in the beginning. They grow so fast. I'm not going to get any new clothes for babies because it's just way too expensive. I think that stuff is expensive and it's just not worth it. Babies don't care what they wear as long as they're warm, as long as they are kept warm and cozy and they have clean diapers. So I'm trying to get everything used, and it's actually fun to save money to kind of see, look, I would have spent like so much more if I just had okay, I need it new. And then after a while, it's not even new anymore. Another thing that has become really fun, and because of a frugal mindset, I'm doing constant decluttering. Of course, especially now, since I'm expecting twins, we need, the house isn't that big, and we need more space for 2 more human beings in this house. Of course, in the beginning, when they're little, they don't need that much stuff, but they will eventually want toys and stuff, and, but I'm trying to do constant decluttering because it keeps me aware, it just really makes me aware of This is all the stuff I'm constantly getting rid of. At some point, I bought it, whether it was new or used, or maybe I got it from someone, maybe it was a gift. All the stuff, it rotates through the house, comes in and out. Everything, almost like the majority of stuff we own, it just rotates. It comes in and then we don't need it anymore. Life changes and our circumstances change. Like now we have kids and then we don't have kids anymore, and then we have to get rid of everything again. Or our hobby changes and we get the stuff and then we get rid of it again. So always keep in mind that all the stuff that comes into your home and into your life, it's going to leave again. Most likely, the majority of stuff will go away again. So just think about that. And that is always one thing that is, it keeps me from buying too much, because I'm always thinking, getting rid of stuff is just so much work. Like putting it on Craigslist or the German eBay Kleinanzeigen, it's so much work. So getting rid of stuff is like, okay, what if I ever want to get rid of this? How easy would it be to get rid of this? And so now, like for the baby car seat, it has great resale value. So I'm not worried about getting rid of that kind of stuff. But there's some stuff it's just going to be hard to get rid of, right? And it would be a waste to make it trash. And some things you can totally get used, while of course other things I would never get used. I don't know, like underwear, I would not get used. There are some things, or like a milk pump. I'm gonna get like an electric milk pump. If I get it used, it's gonna have to be something where they only used it a couple times or so. But I don't want to get that used too much, because of, it's kind of hygienic. So here's the thing. Being frugal is very useful, because I just know that if you don't have money, everyone always says like, oh, money isn't everything. Sure, it isn't everything. But I also know, because I've lived through it, I've lived through abundance and I lived through the low tides. I know that if you don't have money, it can cause so much worry. If you get a bill, you don't quite have the money. If you're very tight always, you're just making it. It's no fun. You don't have this relaxed, carefree life, because there's always some level of worry on your radar. And I had that big time. When I was married to my ex-husband, we were not in good shape financially. We were both college students, and we took out, some student loans and other stuff. And we were not very intelligent with our money, because nobody had taught us before. And it caused a lot of worry. And I remember that it felt like Christmas when we got paid, and then we could go to Walmart and buy like all the groceries we wanted. That was like, it felt so good that day when we went and bought all the groceries we wanted, like once a month or so. That's crazy. You should always be, instead of buying a television and paying monthly notes on it, you should buy all the groceries you want, right? And have in the refrigerator what you really want to have in the refrigerator. You don't have to spend a lot of money to eat well. And you don't have to, buy a lot, but it's just kind of crazy what we spend money on. But the thing that's the most important, like, eating well, it's actually a lot more important than buying some new tech device or something. And I'm big on tech. Oh yes, I've always been a techie. So here, I have a question for you. Have you ever tried to invest? It is quite addictive, even if you have the smallest amount. Now, I don't know what platforms they have where you are. Now, I have two different places where I have my investments funds. There's one called eToro. I believe they might also have it in the States. I think there's something called Webull, Webbull, or something like that. They always wanted me to do a collaboration with them and advertise for them, but I'm not using them because I'm already using two others. So eToro, and the cool thing is that you can actually create an investment fund that is not real money, just to try it out. So you can invest money into different stock or funds, and it's pretend money. but you can see how it reacts and what it does. So you can try it out without actually doing anything with real money. So if you're scared you're going to lose any money, you could just try to see what happens. And I would always recommend to never invest in anything that you don't know anything about. So, like, you invest basically in companies. And like an index fund is a collection of a bunch of companies. So those are usually pretty safe to invest in. Also, they often don't have as much return as maybe one single stock could have, but also they don't have a great potential for a lot of loss because it's kind of an average. There are many, many companies in there, and it just kind of depicts what the market does in general, like, overall. So as long as generally the economy, there's an upward trend, that's what that index fund will also do. But then experiment around with some stock that like you really know the companies well, and you firmly believe that that company is going to do really well over the next 10, 20 years. They're going to continue to grow. They have a track record of growing. And just see what happens. Just don't even invest real money. Just try it out. It's kind of a playground thing. And for me personally, it's always been addicting because I've always seen it go up, up, up. Oh, there were downs. But I don't get nervous because whenever it goes down, I'm like, okay, now I can buy some more because it's quite cheap now, and it will definitely go up again. Any crash in history, it didn't stay down. It went up again afterwards. So just don't get nervous. When it crashes, it's like, oh yeah, now I can buy the stuff like dirt cheap. Invest in companies that have a good track record over decades, and really, chances are really good that you're going to win. Now so that was just kind of like a general thing, general thoughts that I have about frugal life. But here are some things that I do in like just small things in everyday life that have saved me money. And it's just the mindset, if you do a few things, like we have a saying in German that says, Kleinvieh macht auch Mist. That means, little, like small animals also create dirt. It's like, and it's just, it adds up. So the first thing that I don't consistently do this, but I have phases where I do it all the time, is make my own bread. Now, if you make bread like Germans make bread, literally flour, salt, and either yeast or sourdough, which you can make yourself. I have a video about making sourdough bread, but whole grain rye sourdough bread. It's really healthy. Now, sourdough is really good for you because it pre-digests all those. There are chemicals in plants that are supposed to protect the plants from being eaten. And they're not so healthy for us. They're not so digestible. But when you use sourdough and you let those bacteria digest the flour, pre-digest before you bake it, it's a lot better for your body to digest. So baking your own bread with sourdough, it's literally so easy. You literally need 3 ingredients. It's, water, flour, sourdough, and a little bit of salt. Maybe some spices if you want to taste. Sometimes you could put nuts in it or something. I like sometimes putting walnuts in there, but it's literally so easy. And you don't need a bread machine. It's not like you have to knead for hours and hours. Basically, you just knead for really like a couple minutes, and then you just let it sit. So easy. And I don't know how it is where you live, but good bread, like healthy bread, it's actually not cheap to buy it at a store. And here, when I go to the bakery to get a nice big loaf of bread, it costs like €4.50, which is like $5 or something. It's kind of crazy for one nice big loaf of bread, which lasts us maybe a week. But that's a lot of money that adds up. Like that's $20 a month just for bread. So when I make it myself, literally costs pennies. That flour is so cheap. The next thing is like storage containers. I love like glass storage containers, but instead of buying a lot of them, I just use a lot of those. Whenever you buy pickles or pasta sauce, anything, excuse me, that comes in clear glasses, I just put the glass in the dishwasher after I'm done, and I keep it, and I put my dry goods in there. The other thing is I have only been using soap. Like, you can use soap to wash your hair, to wash your face, to wash your body. I don't use all these different products anymore. And here's the thing. I know that the manufacturers, they always want you to believe like, okay, if you use this cream or this exfoliant, you're going to look younger. Newsflash, nothing you can put on the outside is going to make you look younger. Nothing is. Okay. So nothing's going to take your wrinkles away. The most important factor is your lifestyle and what's going on the inside. Drinking enough water, eating healthy, not exposing yourself to the sun too crazy much. And I'm 47, and I always feel like a lot of people always tell me like, oh, you just don't even look your age. And I think it's because I've always taken good care of my body. So I don't use any products that are like, I just use very, very simple, basic products. I have one cream and I use soap. And other than that, like to remove makeup, olive oil or coconut oil, if I want to exfoliate, I just use a little bit of sugar, mix it with olive oil, and you can exfoliate with it. Works great. Also on the legs, like if you wanted to shave and you want to make it smoother, just use sugar scrub that you make yourself. Sugar and oil, great exfoliant. So there are a lot of really cheap things. I mean, there are things you have in the kitchen that you can use to, take care of your skin and stuff. Another thing is, I used to have a gym membership, but I haven't had it for, I think, maybe 2.5 years now. Or maybe 1.5 years. Oh yeah, 1.5 years. Yeah, last year, right before Corona, I canceled it. I didn't know Corona was going to come, but I canceled it to where it ran out in February, and that's when Corona hit. Kind of crazy, and then nobody could go anyway. But I work out at home. I go for runs. Of course, now, since I've been pregnant, I don't go for runs anymore, but I'm a runner. I love running. I love going with my bike. And I work out at home every day. Now I'm pregnant too, and I'm working out at home every single day. There are body weight workouts. I have 2 sets of weights that I've had for quite a few years that are great for my body, but just my own body weight is awesome. There's so much you can do. And like in our house, I only drink water and tea. There's nothing else I drink. I see all these drinks people want to buy, and they're quite expensive. I don't drink juice because juice is so sugary. I'd rather eat just the fruit itself, and drinking just water and herbal tea and the herbs I pick myself in my yard in the summertime, and it lasts me through the winter until the next spring comes around. It only costs me like a few cents of water. It comes out of the faucet. And I know you can't do this everywhere. When I lived in the States, I couldn't have drank that faucet water because it's so chlorinated. It's horrible. Can't be good for you. But here where I live, I just drink tap water all the time because it's really good water and it tastes good also. So it's almost free. Of course, it's not completely free. I pay for water. But I mean, it costs pennies. Oh yes, I have not been using, like, for laundry, you don't need any fancy stuff. My daughter and I, and like my family, we are not even used to having strong scent anymore. Like even perfume, I don't use perfume. I don't use like Febreze or like carpet freshener or or fabric softener. I don't use any of those dryer sheets. We don't even have a dryer at this point. I don't know if we will get a dryer at some point, maybe like 2 more kids. I don't know. For now, it all works and I'll just hang it up. But the scent stuff, first of all, I like, or scented candles, it costs money. And then also, it's just not good for you. It's just really, when after not having used anything with strong scent for a few years, it's crazy how sensitive you get. You're so sensitive. I'm so sensitive. Even when someone has a lot of perfume on, it's like, ooh, it kills me. It doesn't mean I never put any scent on me, but the best thing is to actually wash yourself. I know it sounds funny, but if I don't smell good, I wash myself under the arms and then it smells better. Enough, it's just the best way. And lavender oil, I have lavender oil with me a lot of times, and I will then put it under my armpits when I'm out and about. And it does kill odor, and it's multi-purpose. Lavender oil can be used for so many different things, but like all of the scented stuff, it's like, why, right? For like, I don't need it. It's just for what, right? In the house, the best way to make your house smell better is to get everything out that stinks, right? I mean, I have a dog, but instead of covering up that smell, try to brush him every day outside. And I mean, I have a dog, right? So it's gonna smell like, the dog is sometimes gonna smell, and he smells out of his mouth like so bad. But I air out the house. I open the windows when something doesn't smell right. I don't like anything that covers up smell anymore. I just like to smell nothing. Literally, I love smelling nothing. So I was like, what do you smell? Nothing. And that's exactly the way I like it. Neutral. It's all on neutral. The next thing, I've been washing my clothes on cold, and I can tell you that almost every stain comes out. If you notice, like, especially if you have kids, when there is a stain and it's when it just happened, you can treat it. Take the garment off, or sometimes you could just even leave it on. Put a little bit of that Castile soap on, rub it, clean it with some water, and then wash it out. Comes out almost 100% of the time if you really rub it. And then you don't have to wash the entire garment. And then you can just wash your clothes on cold. I don't really wash anything on really hot, because even towels, I mean, really, we use towels when we get out of the bathtub. We have just cleaned our bodies, and then we dry off. So there's nothing dirty about it. There's not any like bacteria really bad. I don't know. So no hot water for a lot of stuff. And the library. That's one thing that is huge. Our library, they have board games, they have magazines, they have DVDs, they have CDs, they have audiobooks, and of course, tons of books. They have so much stuff, and I just have not been buying books. I used to have like really full bookshelves. I used to have lots of books, and I got rid of so many books, especially the ones that I know is like, it's not the kind of book I'm going to read over and over again. I love reading books where I just learn stuff. No, not novels or anything. I don't like that. I just love reality stuff. Just like, teach me something I want to learn. Right now, of course, I'm reading all these books about pregnancy and childbirth, because I want to, I just want to, like, natural childbirth. I want to give myself good chances to have a natural birth with the twins. It is possible. And so those books I'm probably just going to read once, and I just get them on Kindle. Or, I try to get them used. I try to ask friends, do you have more books about this topic? Because I'm interested right now. But the library is a great place to get a lot of the stuff, and also board games. We have not bought any board games. They have so much. I mean, our library, they have like this whole wall full of board games. All ages. They have them for kids. They have them for adults, for families, anything you would want. And so, once a month we could go there and get 3 or 4 board games, and we can play to our heart's content. And also another thing, I don't know, I think it's also like an American thing to go out to eat a lot. There are, I think, a lot more restaurants in the States. Here in Germany, there are more of those type of restaurants that are like small family-owned restaurants. Lots of those. And here it seems people just usually eat at home, and that's what we do. How often do we go out to eat? I don't know. Sometimes not even once a month. And it's because here's why. I actually love the food that I cook myself. A lot of times I would go out to eat and I'd be like, now I spent so much money on that food. I could have made that. Maybe even better, like the way I really like it. I'm a pretty good cook, or so I'm told by everyone, and I like what I eat. I've been cooking since I was a child, and I just don't go out to eat. We just don't really do it. It's very rare. It's very rare, only for special occasions, really. And you save a lot of money that way. And eating at home is just so cool because you learn how to, I don't know, I love to learn how to cook healthy food. It's fun when you really know how to do it. Because then you can, like, I would go to a restaurant and I would taste something and I would really always think, either I think I could have made that better, like for my own taste, or I cannot believe if I had bought those ingredients, it would have cost literally a quarter for the entire family than what I'm paying for one portion here. So that's the frugal mindset. And I'm thinking, I could just do it at home. We can do we also don't go to the theater hardly ever because, we have Netflix and you can't stream almost anything. We have YouTube and stuff. We could watch it on the television. So we would do theater nights, then I make popcorn, not the microwavable kind, but like pop it in a big pot. It's the best. Tastes so much better than microwavable. Just pop it in a pot with some ghee, or clarified butter. Put the butter in, then you put the kernels in, and then they pop. It makes the most beautiful mushroom popcorn, and then put a little salt on there. It's so awesome, and it costs a few cents. And then we would make popcorn and get snacks and, maybe even get dinner. We sit in front of the television and we can start the show whenever we want. We can pause it whenever we want. I actually prefer this. And then we can go to bed whenever we want right away. Yes, and then lastly, no, not lastly, I shop my pantry a lot. Because in the past, I used to waste a lot of food sometimes because I just forgot what I had. I didn't have a plan. Like, what am I going to make? But oftentimes, like right now, I really want to work on emptying out my freezer completely. And then I want to unthaw it and then start it up again and then fill it again. But it's really fun to shop your pantry, and you'd be surprised, if you're a creative cook, just make a list of all the items that you have. It might only be dried goods, but if you have rice and beans or rice and quinoa or like any grains or beans or like any legumes, you can make a lot of stuff out of that. You could make out of chickpeas, you could make hummus, which is so delicious. And then you literally only need maybe a few fresh ingredients that you have to get, but empty out your stuff sometimes. Really shop your pantry, and it's really fun to come up with, it's kind of crazy how many more meals you sometimes can make with the stuff you have. I make a list of this is what I have, and then I come up with creative ideas. Like I could make 5 more meals with what I thought was, oh, I have no food left. And oh yeah, another thing, if you wanted to, I'm a performing artist, but I've always loved attending concerts and stuff. Of course, nowadays I have a lot of friends who are musicians also, so I get into concerts and even musical theater shows for almost nothing or for nothing, get really cheap tickets. But I remember in the past, there are actually local colleges if you're into, live music or even classical music or theater. There are local colleges that put on shows all the time. And usually you can get there free because they're always happy to have an audience, or very little money in comparison to what you would pay to go to like a big theater. So, if you're into like theater, acting theater, like actual actors, and classical music or something. Just check it out in a local college. They have shows all the time. Go to their website, the art, like the music department or the dance department. You can see ballets, you can see dance um, recitals, and they have those going on all the time. Of course, with COVID, it was kind of ugh. Hopefully, the world will get back to normal again someday. We really hope so, right? I think everyone's tired of like COVID now because it's you never know. You can't really plan stuff. Some countries are starting to get back to normal a little bit, like in Denmark. They just declared COVID is over, no more restrictions. Germany's not quite there yet. We're still, let's not even get into it all, but and I know in the States too, there's now a vaccine mandate, which, I would hope that when a lot of people are vaccinated, that the situation will totally improve. I would hope. So whatever it takes to improve the situation, hope that's all going to happen. So, but even during those times, it's been such a blessing to be a frugal person because I did not always depend on like, oh, I have to do this and I have to do that. I was always happy and content by just, okay, I'll just be here at home. I'll be safe. And now I'm pregnant, and I'm actually kind of glad that I don't have to be out with tons of people or like in a train every day or in a bus. It's really crowded. I don't really have a high risk to get anything because I literally sit at home all day or I go to the forest. I'm just out and about in our small town. I may go to a couple of grocery stores and get stuff. But other than that, I just work from here. And that's a really blessing. It's a real blessing. So this is all that I had to say, I think. Yeah. So, I mean, I would love in the comments, even if you're watching the replay, if you have any other ideas that you want to add, how you live frugally, how you save money, or even things that have helped you to have a more frugal lifestyle and still enjoy it, then please put it in the comments. I really actually enjoy the frugal lifestyle because it's kind of crazy. The more frugal I live, the more money I can save and the more I have. And like I said, I've saved more than I ever have before in my life. And I make more money now every month than I have ever made in my life, but I also probably spend less than I ever have spent in my life. So, I mean, that in combination is just really cool. And I can only tell you, it gives you a lot of peace of mind. Your life feels different when your finances are completely in order and you don't have to worry about money. Your life is so different. You sleep better, you're more relaxed, and also you have the capacity to, like, I'm going to have twins in January, probably in January. And I have a business, but I have money saved up to where now I don't have to be so worried and I don't have to work like insane to try to make up for stuff. And I don't have to push myself to be back at work after a couple of weeks, which of course I will. I don't know what's going to happen, but I love what I do, but I don't have that pressure. I have the option to, if I have to, I could take a few months off and not have to worry about paying bills, which is a huge blessing. And it just reduces, it reduces stress to not have to worry about that. And I think ultimately it makes you healthier when you don't have that stress, because that underlying stress that is constantly there, that's just like, it's toxic. It's really toxic to your body. I have to being pregnant, I have to speak a lot more slowly. I get out of breath so easily when I speak because I'm normally a fast talker because my thoughts come really fast, and Now, being pregnant, I have to be more mindful about taking a little bit more time to breathe every once in a while. Mm. I actually just got through before I came on. I drank my tea. I can't like it's so good. I make I like do half a cup of rooibos tea, and then I add this much hot milk, whole milk, and then I add a little bit of heavy cream. And now, then I add some it's gingerbread spice. It's similar to pumpkin, pumpkin spice, pumpkin pie spice, and like a little bit of that. That is so good. Tastes like fall. It's like here it's starting to get cooler now, but it tastes like fall. And I've been having this rooibos latte with a spice for several days now in a row, and I'm addicted right now. It's so good. And then in the mornings I always drink. Right now I drink. I'm blanking out. It's just like pregnancy brain sometimes. Like I can't even think of it right now. I'm not drinking peppermint tea. What is it? Lavender and I promise I have pregnancy amnesia right now. I can't even think of it. So peppermint is a good one, but it's not a chamomile. Chamomile and lavender. That is a great combination. Now, lavender, it's pretty strong, so you don't want to put too much lavender in, but it's very soothing and I like it a lot. There are some teas that, second trimester, some are considered really safe, doesn't matter how much you drink, and some are maybe not so good. Licorice is one of those things. You're not really supposed to have a lot of licorice, like the real licorice root, because it has negative effects, and some could cause contractions and stuff like that. So of course I don't want to drink teas that could do that. Okay, this is it. It's been 52 minutes now. So I'm just gonna wrap it up for now. And I just wanted to jump on here and talk to you. And there will be another, like I said, there will be another cleaning video next week. And for now, I'm just gonna play it by ear for this channel. If you don't follow me yet on my Simple Blessings channel, I think the link is in my description, because that's where, if you wanted to follow my pregnancy journey more in detail, it's where I give updates all the time about how that's going. Also, I'm going to give more updates about baby stuff that I'm getting. I might do a haul here on this channel when it comes to, what I've spent and what I've gotten. But most of those topics are going to be on my Simple Blessings channel. And then, of course, if you're into singing, then of course you can follow me on my Freya Casey channel. There are tons of singing tutorials on there. That's my main channel. All right. You all have a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend coming up. It's Friday evening for us here, and in about an hour, I'm going to pick up my daughter from gymnastics. She went there with a friend today. They're just going to check it out and see if that's not something they want to do. The other friend's mom drove them there, and I'm going to pick them up in just about an hour. Have a great day. Be blessed. And yes, keep it simple and just be mindful about what is really important. What is the most important thing in life? Bye.